Looplings, and welcome back to the Loopy Homestead. We got another project coming at you today. This is on a side of our property, rarely seen yet, but it is where we have the most amount of unused property. And today we're getting ready to put up some more T-posts. Some exciting new developments that we can't share just yet, but we will be sure to include you in soon. But in order for those new events to potentially happen, we have to do some fence expansions. So we are going to be, we've already taken down some old wire that was up when we first moved. We tried pulling some old T-posts, but they don't quite meet the size requirements that we need. So we did go buy some new T-posts, 35 of them to be exact. That's just for the first stage of things. We got our tractor out here, we got our fence, our T-post driver out, and we already know about how much of this we're going to map out and fence to start off with. So with that, let's get cracking. So we're gonna try to get this done today, mostly before the high winds pick up. We've got an advisory that they're supposed to get blowing pretty good today. We had rain all this morning that we did the starting part of our work through. Thankfully it's held off for now. We've got some blue sky directly above me, but the clouds are moving quickly in that direction. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're back to gray in no time at all. My dad is getting our T-post driver set up here. The brand we have is Titan. He's getting some gas in it, getting it started. It is not the lightest thing in the world, but it drives the T-posts in pretty quickly, so it makes short work of what otherwise would be a long time driving posts by hand with a slammer. Very much like what we did on the pig fences out towards the barn. I've got some twine here. We're going to do a wrap around the posts, make sure that all of them can be seen easily for the visibility of putting in other ones, and we'll get cracking on the rest of these. In really no time at all, we have our first grouping of fence posts up, and we're already working on our second grouping. We're actually thinking about doing about 5 of these groupings. And you notice they don't look very big. So I can tell you it probably is something that has to do with pig. But I'm going to leave it at that. We'll get a few more of these done, and then it is getting late in the day. It's about mid-November, and so it's getting dark. We can see the deeper clouds rolling in. And you know, not really something you want to be out in for forever. So we'll get this wrapped up and we'll call it a day. Last 2 fence posts going in for the evening. I'm going to go ahead and park the tractor, and hopefully we'll be able to wrap some more of this up tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Well, back at it again today. We've picked up some fencing, a few more T-posts. We've got some 4x4s for helping to do our gates. And then we've also picked up our gates. So what we're working on right now is getting the clips on our fencing, getting holes dug for our 4x4 so that we can get our gates in there. And hopefully, we're getting a late start on this today, but hopefully we'll make some progress before the day is done. Well guys, it got real dark real fast here. We started to put in one of our gates, but discovered our opening was a little short. So what we're gonna have to do is pull a fence post and move it over to accommodate that. Though it's a good thing that we didn't get the fencing on all of it just yet. We do have one front corner all the way to one back side done. So tomorrow is supposed to be sunny again, and it's very cold out here right now. Hopefully tomorrow will be just a scad warmer. But with any luck, we'll be able to get out here really early tomorrow and just really bust some stuff out. Been back out here working today on some of the fences. At the moment though, I'm able to start working on getting our gate up. So what I had said was we were going to put some 4x4s going on here next to our T-post. This is to give our gate some stability. We opted out here to not do the angular cross beams like we did before. You know, we like them, they make it sturdy, but they are more of a hassle than we're really interested in. And we're using so much fencing that's nice and tight that I really don't think we're gonna have much of an issue with it. Plus, since we use the electric fencing, our goal is that they won't be pushing on these T-posts at all. That being said, the gates that we use, because they screw into wood, rather than get extra pieces, we just decided to get some 4x4s, drove them into the ground, and this is what will hold our gate. So all I need to do now is make sure our T-post is secured to our 4x4. With that, I'm just using some pipe clamps. These are things that we just had sitting around here. I didn't want to have to go buy a bunch of new stuff for it if I didn't have to. So in this instance, I'm going to use a few of those, attach them together because they are small. So it's going to take me 3 to do around one piece. But just one tie at the top will be enough to keep that 4x4 from wobbling. And it's materials I don't have to go buy again. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with those. I assume most people are familiar with these. You can find them at any hardware store. They have a screw here so you can tighten them, loosen them. Typically, yes, they're used for pipes. In this instance, they're going to hold our gates. They have 2 ways of undoing them. There's for a flathead screwdriver, or if you have the correct bit on your drill, you can just use that to unscrew them, or screw them tighter for that matter. And because these are a little small, I'm just going to bend them outward. I'm going to go ahead and undo all 3 of these. Now that I have them bent back out a bit, it's time to kind of chain them together. So I'll start by doing just a little bit of a finger twist on these. They are pretty easy to get in. It's just once you start tightening them, that's when having the bit actually works really nice. The screwdriver will work too. But the bit just makes it go so much faster. A ratchet will also work, but the ratchet, until you actually get them on the tighter side, you have to kind of twirl it around like you might a screwdriver. So really, if you're going to use these for any length of time or multiples like I'm doing now, just get yourself a bit. Right now, I think I'm using an 8mm. I don't know if that's the exact size of these. I don't think they're metric or they're a 16th or anything like that. But the 8mm works just fine for me. I know I'm going to have to get them a little tighter, so I'm just going to go ahead and start off tightening a few of these. And then I'll walk over here to my post. So I've got this right one already done, but the one here, my left as I'm standing towards it, is not yet. Just like that, my T-post is secured to my 4x4. And I can start working on my gate pieces. So the screw that is going to be holding one side of my, or the bottom part of my gate, I'm going to put that into the bottom of the 4x4. It's about a 5/8 inch screw, but I don't want to try to get this right into the thing. Obviously it's so big, I would spend all day trying to screw this in. So what I am going to use is a 1/2 inch paddle. I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill my hole, and then I will start screwing this in. I'm using a 1/2, despite the fact that this is 5/8, to make sure this still has plenty of wood to grab. It's just not as hard for me to enter. I finished drilling my hole down here. There's my bolt. I can get that started in there a little bit, and it's going to be okay and easy for me to turn for the first few turns. And then it's probably not going to be terribly comfortable. Thankfully, I had one of my nephews bring me out my stool. This will let me do that. But got yourself a crescent wrench or anything that's got a nice hole here on the back side, and I can grab that and just start going around with it. And in case any of you don't know, it's science, kids. It's gonna make this a whole lot easier for me to twist and turn in here. I can even turn it the other way, makes it a little easier. But just that way it takes me less time to get that screwed in. Also, it's high enough above the ground that I'm not actually hitting anything. It's kind of convenient. Sometimes if you're not able to do that, just, you know, keep flipping it around as you're able. But I'm gonna get this screwed in. I will also keep going until I have most of this kind of buried to the hilt here. Our gate is really tight. So it means that I can't really have too much screw pulling out. One of our biggest concerns is whether or not I'll hit this post on the way out. Hopefully I won't. Second verse, same as the first. Gonna drill here, put my next one in. And you know, I know this isn't totally level, but it's a farm gate. We'll live. We have a nice heavy duty latch. The feed store likes to sell these with them, and I suppose that'd be great if I was keeping in a dog. But for things that can knock a person over pretty easily, I don't trust something this small. We do use it as a secondary latch, but we have some nice heavy duty gate latches. You saw us put them on the other pens. So we're gonna use that same thing here too, just to make sure everything stays nice and shut. So like I said, we are using the same latches we use in the barn. Here they are. We get these at a place local to us called North 40. Again, we're a tiny little channel, so obviously nobody is paying for this material but us. But they are by a brand called Powerfields. They're a universal gate latch. They'll go in and out. They're spring loaded. So as soon as you walk through the gate and shut it, they automatically latch. And then you've got to twist and pull to get them open. So they're really good. They show cows right here, but they do work for the pigs that we have also. The only caveat to that, and Powerfields, if you ever see this, take note, is now they do say it works on most gates and doors and things like that. But for the gates that we're using here, which are pretty common, this little piece here, in conjunction with the bolts they send us, they are not big enough to go around the round of those gates without assistance. So what we have had to do on all the gates we've installed thus far, because it's harder to get, I mean, these work, but it means that we have to have longer versions of these. They're pretty short comparatively to go over a lot of farm gates actually, which I assume most people are using these on. So ultimately I think this is about roughly a 2-inch bolt. Honestly, we've had to go by like 3.5 inch in order to get them comfortably around those round pieces of the gate. So again, Powerfields, if you're watching, maybe go a little longer on the bolts. That being said, what we'll just go ahead and do for today is we are going to take the lag screws they sent and we'll drill some pilot holes for the actual piece that the prong goes into. We'll get these in, and then as soon as we can run to the store and get correct bolts, we will get those also. So really, it's a fast gate to install. You've seen us do a couple of them before. We do really like them. The gate latches aren't the cheapest thing. I think they cost us around 20 bucks a latch, which compared to, you know, some cheaper and expensive latches is kind of a lot. But we haven't had a pig get out yet, except for when someone's accidentally left the gate open, which has happened once or twice. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these, get them in, get this piece up, and then I am done with this gate for today. I have a second one to do, and it looks like we're getting our fence wrapped around, so it's actually not going to take us much longer to do these 2 runs. We're getting a little pro at this. And you see too, my dad has been out here with the tractor. Now we have the hand fence puller that we made. For some reason, it has scarpered off somewhere on the property. We cannot find it. And you can get really big ones, but we're just not interested in spending the $80 for basically what I made for 20 bucks, if that. It may not have even cost me 20 bucks to make because I had some of the parts here at the house. There are ones that attach to tractors. Again, for what we're doing, it's not a $200 bill that we want to pay. So in today's instance, and what we've done so far here, we have a great big metal pry bar. It's about as tall as I am, and what we've done this time is just woven it through the wires of the fence. Not too much because we obviously don't want to snap them. We've put that in there, we wrap a chain around it, and my dad just backs up with the tractor to get it nice and taut. This helps make sure that these T-posts, especially since we're not doing the angular ones this time, keeps it sturdy. We did something similar with the tractor when we had our hand puller on the other side, but again, lacking that one piece, we've just found something else to use in its stead. Before my dad pulls the whole fence, because since we don't have the piece that fits on the tractor, if we did, we could put this whole roll on a spike on the tractor and just drive around with it. But since we don't have that, this is the manual way to do it. He's just going to go ahead and roll this all the way from that end to the other. Then he will put the pry bar through it like I talked about, and we will pull it tight with the tractor then. We have rolled it out to the end post here. My dad's got the pry bar. He's going to do what I said, weave it right through, and then we will get the chain attached and we will pull it taut. Got the fence pulled tight. They're going along and starting some of the bottom clips. That's going to help it keep tight as they work towards things. Once they get those first set of clips in, my dad may pull it just a little more. I'm not sure, but there goes the other side, which means right now all we have to finish is just the front pieces and a middle, and we at least have a space to put things. If not, at least, you know, still need their little huts and things like that, but at least we have some space to put stuff. Thanks for joining us back on the Loopy Homestead. If you'd like to stay in the loop, please subscribe to our videos. And if you'd like to help us find more looplings like you, please like and share them. See you next time.
What are we going to do about this middle part?
We're going to fence it.
No, we're not.